I'm here at Blue Stem Brasserie in San Francisco with Bill Hardy of Hardy Wines. Your family history is so rich, so deep, over 160 years, 5 generations. Will you give us the Cliff Notes version of it?
Yeah, okay. Well, great-great-grandfather came out from England, from Devon, back in 1850, and it's just one of those amazing pioneer stories. You know, he arrived in Australia as a 20-year-old. He had his life savings in his pocket, £20 sterling. He didn't know a soul, and he literally had to find a job. Was lucky enough to get a job with one of the earliest vignerons and learned about grape growing and wine making. Then made some money on the gold fields, bought some land, and started making wine. And even in his own lifetime, in fact, he built Hardy's up to be South Australia's biggest wine business. And then 4 subsequent generations of the family have really sort of squired the business over the last century or so and maintained Hardy's as one of the most prominent Australian wine brands around the world.
What was it that made him so successful? Because that is an amazing story.
Well, I think he was such an entrepreneurial gentleman, so innovative. Everything he did, he thought about. For example, and this is a beautiful connection with this part of the world once again, is that he travelled extensively. He came here to California in the 1880s to pick up ideas and took them home and developed them. In fact, he wrote a book about Californian winemaking, which is now acknowledged as the earliest account of Californian winemaking. He also decided he'd buy land in all the little country towns as they opened up and start up liquor stores and not just be a grape grower and winemaker, but be a wine retailer, so very entrepreneurial.
Obviously, he's passed that on to future generations.
I like to think he has. Yeah, I really like to think he has.
Let's talk about the wine that you brought here today.
Okay, well, I brought along a wine. It's being a bit immodest, I know, but I brought along a wine with my own name on it because I'm really proud of that. And this is something really new for Hardy's. 2 years ago, I celebrated my 40 years with Hardy's. And the business thought that it would be nice to recognise that by releasing a wine with my name on it. We've done that for 1 member each of the previous 4 generations, so I'm the 5th family member to have my name on a bottle of wine. So it's the Hardy's William Hardy Shiraz, and of course Australia's most well-known variety, Shiraz, the one we're so proud of.
What was your reaction when you saw your name on the bottle for the first time?
Actually, it was kind of weird because, as you mentioned earlier, people call me Bill. I was christened William. So suddenly I'm having to be called William by people. I'm almost having to call myself William. Whereas in the past, the only person who called me William was my wife.
When you were in big trouble, right?
Exactly.
Why is it that in Australia they call it Shiraz and everywhere else we say Syrah?
I actually investigated that some time ago, and when Australia selected the variety in France back in the 1830s, the actual name of the variety was nothing like Syrah. It would have been pronounced Syrah, but it was actually Ciras. And the French word has sort of metamorphosed to Syrah, and in Australia it's metamorphosed towards Shiraz. So no particular reason, just a difference in pronunciation.
Wines taste great though, right? Shiraz or Syrah. What would you pair with this Shiraz?
I love long, slow-cooked dishes, meat dishes like ossobuco or beef cheeks or oxtail, or gamey dishes, if you have some duck or pheasant or goose or quail or any of those sort of quite gamey birds. Shiraz is a strongly flavoured wine. It's got a nice bit of spice, but it's rich and soft and strongly flavoured, so it will really support some of those great long, slow-cooked dishes.
You've been around for over 160 years. Any goals or missions for the next 160 and beyond?
Oh, just to make sure we're still one of the most prominent wine brands in the world at that time. I don't think I'll be doing it, but I'm trying to make sure at the moment that the 6th generation of the family, gets involved and carries the flag.
Absolutely. Well, I'll drink to that. Do you have a cheers or a toast or anything that you say in your family?
Oh, not really, I don't think. No. Funnily enough, with I've had a little bit of background in France, so I tend to say santé.
Well, santé.
Santé, Monique.
Cheers.